Then I started working on Course 5A, my own Course 5A, which is a continuation of the famous course number 5, Self-Transformation Through Personal Magnetism, which is creating miracles. It's changing people's lives. It's really, I'm very delighted that I'm working with that. So I started on the second part of that. Then I started reading another book called The Search of the Miraculous by Ouspensky, which has to do with an analysis of the teachings of George Gurdjieff. I had read that book before partly because it gets kind of boring in between. When it starts getting too complex with little details and they try to put science into everything, look, man, I get questions on this all the time. You want to improve yourself. You create something to improve yourself with, and you apply that. And if it works, it's based on truth. If it doesn't work, it's not based on truth. It's that simple. So anything that gets too complex, like for example, I am now reading another book by Rudolf Steiner, which is The Philosophy of Freedom. And I tell you, I mean, I admire Rudolf Steiner, but I cannot understand what the hell he's talking about. It's so heavy, and it was also translated from the German. So I don't know if it was a translation or what. But anyway, there's other stuff I like. How to Know Higher Worlds, that's by Steiner. Very, very good. It explains about the path, which I often talk about, which is the path of hidden knowledge. It's a particular path that you discover yourself and you walk it yourself. All right. Now we're going to continue with It's Natural for Men and Women to Be Honest. Honesty is the king-queen of all virtues. It is king-queen because when one uses it unconditionally in his life, he or she becomes as powerful as a king or queen. He truly becomes the captain of her life. If those who seek success by lying only knew the personal power and presence obtained by implementing honesty in their lives, they would at once start using integrated honesty in living life. Again, the only reason man-woman is often not honest is because he has been influenced by all the lies about living life. It is not an easy thing to be honest with oneself, others, and reality. In fact, it is often very difficult. But when you are super honest with yourself and reality, you then are in the responsible position as to how much to be honest with others. You, of course, wouldn't be honest with a criminal because your honesty would bring you loss. But if you make up your mind to be honest with yourself, it gets easier and easier as you see the payoff in terms of personal power. Honesty is the central pillar of all the virtues. One could have all the other virtues, but without honesty, the human structure would be deficient. Honesty stands for all there is worth knowing, having, and being in the universe. As an example of honesty in a private life, it was said of Sumner, a U.S. senator at the turn of the century, quote, Sumner was so morally pure that although he lived in Washington, D.C. in an era of the worst corruption, he often declared that there was none, as he would have seen it had it existed. This means that the politicians and lobbyists never dared approach him. He was frank, outspoken, and yielding, and powerful in denouncing the wrong positions of his opponents. And his frankness made him enemies, but no honest man ever became his enemy. He would resort to no trickery, no subterfuge, no artifice in his statesmanship, unquote. How beautiful. How much of this integrity do you see today? When honesty is coupled with ability, it brings the highest success and is the chief source of happiness. Honesty can be described by the following words: honor, virtue, frankness, sincerity, according to truth, uprightness, justice, fairness, purity, decency, faithfulness, reliability, respectability, and good character. These are good definitions. The problem is that all of us supposedly were brought up on all of these virtues, but they were taught in such pragmatic and specious ways that we accepted these good sounding words, but we don't pay much attention to their real meaning. So, honesty has become a minor principle used mainly when we can't get away without it. But honesty goes much deeper. The most important honesty is with oneself. Am I acting in a way that isn't really me? Am I trying to be someone I'm not? Am I trying to be cool when I'm really not? Do I believe theories that everybody else believes, even though they don't make sense to me? Do I engage in such lies as smoking and or taking recreational drugs? Do I realize that I inherited those lies from other unprincipled people since I was a child? Do I distort the truth in relaying communications? Do I approve of some counter-survival action in someone just because that someone is going to set me up in a good position? Do I excuse dishonesty by saying, quote, well, that's how everybody does it, unquote? Do I approve of dishonesty by saying, quote, well, if you can't beat them, join them, unquote? Beginning today and every day for the rest of your life, you are to ask yourself in every circumstance, every happening, every social interaction, and every problem the following question, quote, am I being honest about this? What's the honest truth about this? Unquote. Another thing that should accompany honesty is the ability to confront. This means to order yourself to look at any situation even though it might be uncomfortable. As you start implementing full honesty in your life, certain uncomfortable things and or situations might come up as a result of integrating everything through honesty. But whereas in the past you would have swept everything under the rug with some excuse so as not to have to look at it, now you will be on the offensive and will want to confront it as soon as possible in order to free your mind and emotions for more production in your life. After using honesty in your life for a while, you will begin to see that 85% of our civilization use lies in order to survive. On seeing this, you might feel down temporarily, but your success is assured, for you will not fall prey to all the specious and sound good lies, from the ecological quote unquote save the mosquitoes to the quote unquote good Samaritan health scams. You will become a self-power to whom nobody can lie. People in general, unless they are in the near criminal and progressive class, will respect you and trust you. People today are so hungry for authentic, genuine, and honest service, information, or help that once they see and feel your honesty in whatever service you provide, the word will pass around and they will flock to you, bringing you prosperity. I get a kick out of these people, even on YouTube and everywhere. People are trying to get rich, and they're moving real fast, get rich. Multi-level business, all of these tricks they do to get rich. Well, there's nothing wrong with getting rich. It's wonderful. But that is not the purpose of life, and that's what we're going to go into in a minute. The purpose of life was not to get rich, not to create a family, not to make children, not to go on vacations. The purpose of life is just for you to get to know who the hell you are. And as you learn this, you automatically not only find your purpose in life, but you align that purpose with the purpose of life itself. And that's what we're going to go into in a minute. When you align these two, everything works.